I never thought homelessness would happen this fast. 1 month earlier, I still owned everything. My company trucks carried my last name proudly. Now I was sleeping inside 15-year-old Honda Civic. Rain tapped against the windshield after midnight. The inside of my car smelled terrible. Cold coffee, wet clothes, and old fries everywhere. I kept checking my wallet repeatedly tonight. $7 remained inside worn leather folds. That money needed surviving another entire week somehow. My construction business collapsed after terrible legal disaster. One cracked foundation destroyed 30 years completely. Insurance lawyers disappeared immediately after court hearings. The bank took my house 3 weeks later. Nobody cared about previous successful business records anymore. Numbers turned red, then everything disappeared afterward. That afternoon, I drove toward my son's house. Nathan lived inside wealthy suburban perfection nowadays. Beautiful lights covered every corner outside elegantly. His wife Ava opened the front door first. Her smile disappeared immediately after seeing my suitcase. Nathan walked behind her looking strangely uncomfortable. "Dad, maybe you should have called again first," he said quietly. Rainwater soaked through my jacket completely outside. "I just need few days somewhere warm," I answered softly. Ava folded her arms without hiding irritation. "We already have enough happening currently," she replied coldly. I looked past them accidentally afterward. 3 empty guest rooms sat completely untouched upstairs. Nathan suggested cheap motels nearby instead awkwardly. Neither person invited me inside their massive house. That silence hurt worse than bankruptcy, honestly. I raised that boy completely by myself. Worked weekends just paying college tuition bills. Now he couldn't offer one couch overnight. I carried my suitcase back toward Honda slowly. Their front door closed behind me immediately. Around midnight, my phone suddenly started ringing. An unfamiliar man requested meeting me tomorrow morning. Apparently, dying billionaire specifically asked for me. I almost ignored the unknown phone call completely. Scam callers targeted desperate people constantly nowadays. Still, something about his voice sounded professional. "My employer requested meeting you personally tomorrow morning." I rubbed tired eyes while listening carefully. "Who exactly is your employer?" I asked cautiously. "Harrison Whitmore," the man answered immediately afterward. The name sounded strangely familiar somehow. Then memory finally connected several missing pieces. Whitmore Global owned half the city downtown. Hotels, office towers, factories, luxury apartments everywhere. The company appeared constantly during business news reports. Rich people like Harrison Whitmore never called men like me. Especially bankrupt contractors sleeping inside broken Hondas overnight. "There must be some misunderstanding," I replied quietly. "No misunderstanding exists whatsoever, Mr. Bennett," he responded calmly. "He specifically requested your presence tomorrow morning." I stared through fogged windshield silently afterward. Rainwater streamed across nearby parking lot lights beautifully. My stomach twisted from exhaustion and confusion. "What exactly does he want?" I finally asked. "I cannot discuss private matters through telephone conversations." The man paused briefly before continuing again. "Transportation arrangements already exist for tomorrow morning." I laughed bitterly hearing those strange words. Yesterday, my son rejected me completely. Tonight, billionaires suddenly arranged private transportation services. Nothing about this situation felt remotely normal. The caller gave mansion address before disconnecting politely. I searched location using cracked cell phone screen afterward. The property sat inside Northridge Estates. Average homes there cost several $1 million. I barely slept throughout remaining dark hours. Every position inside Honda caused terrible back pain. Around 6, freezing temperatures finally woke me completely. I cleaned myself inside nearby gas station bathroom. Cold water shocked my exhausted face painfully. My reflection looked older than 63. Stress had completely changed my appearance recently. At 9:30, black luxury sedan arrived silently. Driver opened passenger door without asking questions first. Dark hours. Every position inside Honda caused terrible back pain. Around 6, freezing temperatures finally woke me completely. I cleaned myself inside nearby gas station bathroom. Cold water shocked my exhausted face painfully. My reflection looked older than 63. Stress had completely changed my appearance recently. At 9:30, black luxury sedan arrived silently. Driver opened passenger door without asking questions first. The car moved silently through gated highways. I watched familiar city fade behind slowly. Luxury neighborhoods replaced everything I recognized before. Glass towers reflected morning sunlight sharply ahead. Driver spoke very little entire journey. Only engine sound filled uncomfortable silence. We crossed multiple private security checkpoints afterward. Each gate opened after scanning vehicle codes. Eventually, we entered North Ridge Estates. I had never seen anything like it. Massive mansions stretched across landscaped hillsides. Every property looked like private resort. The car finally stopped before iron gates. Whitmore Estate stood beyond like museum. White stone, marble paths, and silent fountains. A man in formal suit approached immediately. He opened door with controlled professionalism. "Mr. Bennett, please come with me." I stepped out slowly, adjusting my jacket. My shoes touched polished stone pathway. Everything felt unreal and overly expensive. He guided me through long corridor paths. Security cameras followed every movement carefully. Finally, we reached massive double doors. He knocked once and stepped aside. "Mr. Whitmore is waiting inside." I entered large room cautiously afterward. Bookshelves covered entire walls completely. Fireplace burned softly despite morning light. A man sat inside wheelchair near window. His face looked pale and exhausted, but eyes remained sharp and focused. Harrison Whitmore studied me silently first. Then he spoke with tired voice. "You came," he said calmly. I nodded without understanding situation yet. He gestured toward chair in front. I sat down carefully afterward. Long silence filled room between us. Then he finally broke quiet moment. "You don't remember me, do you?" His words immediately changed atmosphere completely. I searched memory carefully again. Nothing came at first glance. Then he leaned slightly forward. 8 years ago, Highway 17. Rain. Night. Accident. Everything returned instantly. My throat tightened suddenly afterward. "I remember," I whispered quietly. He nodded slowly without smiling. I was inside that car. Room felt heavier instantly afterward. He continued speaking without breaking eye contact. "You pulled me out that night." Then silence returned even stronger. My hands trembled slightly under pressure. He opened nearby folder slowly afterward. "Your life changed after that moment." Mine changed completely because of it. I stared at him without speaking. Memories of that night came rushing. Rain. Screeching tires. Broken metal everywhere. A luxury car upside down in creek. I still remembered forcing window open. Pulling a stranger through freezing water. My hands cut deeply from glass. I thought it was just survival instinct. Nothing more than helping another human. Harrison watched my reaction closely. "You never contacted hospital afterward," he said. "I didn't think I needed thanks," I replied. He nodded slowly without interrupting me. "I returned to work next week." "Never asked who you were," I added. He leaned back slightly in wheelchair. "That decision changed everything for me." I frowned, not understanding his meaning. "My company was under federal investigation," he continued. fraud allegations, environmental violations, financial crimes everywhere. I was running that night, he admitted. Running from arrests and collapse ahead. Then accident happened on rainy highway. I should have died that night. But you pulled me out instead. His voice remained calm but heavy. He placed folder onto table carefully. Investigation stopped while I recovered. Lawyers cleaned entire situation quietly afterward. Everything disappeared before I woke up. I shook my head slowly. That sounds like coincidence only, I said. He gave faint tired smile. Call it what you want. After recovery, I rebuilt everything. Whitmore Global became massive empire later. Hospitals, real estate, logistics everywhere expanded. Billions followed after second chance, he said. I looked down feeling uncomfortable. I didn't do anything special, I replied. He raised hand slightly, stopping me. That's exactly why you matter, he said. Silence filled room again heavily. Then he opened another document slowly. My eyes caught legal headings immediately. It looked like inheritance paperwork. My heart slowed without understanding reason. You are listed as beneficiary, he said. I froze completely. In chair. I pushed paper slightly away. This must be mistake, I said. He shook head very slowly. No mistake exists in these files. Lawyer seals covered every page clearly. My name appeared multiple times inside document. Large numbers filled final sections. 0 after 0 after 0. I looked up confused and tense. Why would you do this? I asked. He studied me for a long moment. You saved my life, he answered simply. That's not enough reason, I replied quickly. He coughed lightly before speaking again. I had everything before that night. But nothing mattered until you pulled me. His tone carried exhaustion and honesty. I owe everything to that moment. I stood up slightly in disbelief. I don't want your money, I said. He nodded like he expected response. That's not your decision anymore, he replied. My breathing felt uneven suddenly afterward. He slid another sealed envelope forward. It's already legally processed, he added. My thoughts became completely disorganized quickly. Outside window, garden stretched endlessly wide. Luxury felt suffocating instead of impressive. I thought about my son again. Refusing me few nights earlier coldly. Family doesn't want me anymore, I muttered. He heard every word clearly. Then this becomes your new beginning, he said. I didn't answer anything afterward. Paper felt heavier than expected suddenly. My life had changed without warning again. I left Whitmore Estate in silence. Driver didn't ask any questions either. Road back felt longer than before. My phone buzzed repeatedly during ride. Unknown numbers, bank alerts, news messages. Everything connected to sudden inheritance rumors. I turned phone off completely afterward. I needed quiet more than answers. Car stopped near same diner parking lot. Everything looked unchanged from yesterday night. Same broken lights, same empty benches. I sat inside without moving long time. Thoughts kept repeating inside my mind. Son. Billionaire. Accident. Inheritance. Collapse. None of it made complete sense. Then headlights approached slowly nearby. Black SUV parked beside my car. Driver from morning stepped out again. Mr. Whitmore requested one more meeting, he said. I hesitated for several seconds. Then finally nodded without speaking. We drove again through city limits. This time direction felt different. We stopped at hospital entrance quietly. I frowned immediately looking at building. He is inside, driver said simply. Security escorted me through long corridors. Machines beeped softly along hallway walls. Eventually, we reached private ICU room. Harrison lay connected to multiple machines. He looked weaker than before now. But I still recognized me instantly. "You came back," he whispered. I stood near bed quietly. "What is happening now?" I asked. Doctors moved quietly behind glass doors. He tried speaking again slowly. "My time is almost finished," he said. Silence filled sterile hospital room completely. I pulled chair closer to bed. "Why involve me in all this?" He exhaled slowly before answering me. "Because I trust you more than anyone." That sentence felt strangely heavy. "I don't understand trust like that," I said. He smiled weakly through exhaustion. "You already proved it years ago." He closed eyes briefly, then reopened. "My son only waits for money. My daughter only calls for payments. No one cares if I die." His voice cracked slightly at end. Machines beeped steadily around the room. Doctors observed silently from glass panel. I stayed quiet for a long time. Then I finally spoke again. "What happens after you pass?" He pointed weakly toward folder nearby. "Everything becomes legally yours immediately." I shook head, refusing instantly. "I can't accept that responsibility." He stared at me firmly. "You already accepted it by saving me." That logic felt completely wrong. But he continued speaking anyway. "Whitmore Global needs stable leadership transition. Board already approved your involvement." I stood up, suddenly confused. "I'm not businessman at that level." He nodded slowly, acknowledging truth. "That's exactly why they chose you." Silence returned between us heavily again. Outside, rain started falling once more. Window reflected hospital lights softly. My life felt completely unstable again. Everything moving without my control. News spread faster than I expected. By morning, headlines mentioned my name. "Unknown man inherits billionaire empire." Reporters gathered outside hospital entrance. Security blocked every camera immediately. Inside room, Harrison remained unconscious now. Machines kept his body stable artificially. Lawyers arrived discussing documents constantly. Board members waited in separate meeting room. Everyone looked at me differently now. Some with curiosity, others with suspicion. I stayed near hospital corridor quietly. Ethan called me repeatedly that day. I finally answered on third attempt. "Dad, what is happening right now?" His voice sounded stressed and confused. "Nothing you need to worry about," I replied. Silence followed on other side. Then he spoke again carefully. "People are saying strange things online." I didn't answer immediately afterward. He continued anyway, more sharply. "About inheritance, about billion-dollar empire." I closed eyes for a moment. "Not everything online is real," I said. He didn't believe me completely. I could hear that clearly. "You should come home and talk," he added. I stayed silent before replying. "I can't right now," I said. Call ended shortly after that. Hospital lights stayed bright all night. Doctors finally stepped out around midnight. "He is stable for now," one said. But uncertainty stayed in their eyes. Everything still depended on time. Morning brought heavier silence than before. Lawyers prepared final transition documents again. Board members requested immediate decisions. I refused every meeting repeatedly. I wasn't built for this world. Glass offices, billion-dollar signatures, legal authority. None of it felt like mine. I walked hospital hallway alone afterward. Rain continued outside entire day. Then Ethan arrived unexpectedly at entrance. He looked tired and anxious. We stood facing each other quietly. "I didn't know you were here," he said. I nodded without much emotion. He glanced toward security doors. "People are saying you are rich now." I didn't respond immediately again. Then he spoke softer than before. "Mom would have been proud, maybe." That sentence hit differently suddenly. I looked away toward window. Rain blurred city lights outside. "I'm still same person," I said. He nodded slowly but uncertain. "We need to talk properly," he added. I agreed quietly without argument. But not today. Not inside this building. Later that night, hospital called again. Harrison's condition worsened suddenly. Doctors requested immediate presence urgently. I returned quickly through empty corridors. His breathing had become unstable now. He looked at me weakly again. "Don't waste this chance," he whispered. Then monitors changed rapidly afterward. Machines screamed softly inside hospital room. Doctors rushed in immediately afterward. I stepped back helplessly watching everything. Harrison looked at me one final time. No anger, no fear, only calm. "Use it properly," he said quietly. Then his eyes slowly closed completely. Room turned silent except monitors fading. Doctors confirmed time of death softly. I stood still without movement. Everything felt unreal and distant. Lawyers entered room afterward quietly. They began explaining legal procedures again. But I wasn't listening properly anymore. I walked outside hospital alone. Rain had stopped during night. City lights reflected across wet streets. Phone kept vibrating non-stop in pocket. News. Calls. Messages. Unknown numbers. Ethan was waiting outside entrance. He didn't speak immediately. Then he asked quietly, "So what happens now?" I looked at him slowly. "I don't know," I answered honestly. Behind us, world kept moving. Ahead, nothing felt clear anymore.